Thank you.
It's not a show about shoes.
Yeah, they are. Ostrich. I've beat them to hell. I haven't had them that
All
long.
right. All right, are we on Facebook Live right now too? Are we? Oh, we're recording. Oh, okay. All right. Welcome. My name is Razz on the radio. This is Hardy right here. Please welcome Hardy to
What's up?
our 92.5 XTU Performance Lounge, brought to you by ACME, your favorite local supermarket. So we have something in common here with young Hardy here. He's from the town of Philadelphia,
Yeah, that's right.
Mississippi.
Philadelphia.
I know
I didn't even
two
think
things
about
about
that, Tony.
Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Okay.
2 casinos.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see if I remember that. Silver Star
Yes.
and the Golden Moon.
That's correct. Have
my
you been?
my mother-in-law knows every
okay.
casino in America
Okay.
and wants to hit them all.
Well, they're pretty
So-
cool. It's a random. They're out in the middle of nowhere. It's out in the middle of the country, and you just come over this hill, and there's just 2 massive casinos in the middle of the country. It's really.
So do they get big time stars there? Like, can you go to a
Totally.
concert there?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they have like people every year. Tim McGraw, just like big,
pretty cool.
Pretty big, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Well, it's nothing like it is here.
Big Philadelphia.
It's got like 8,000 people in the town. I don't know. It's a really cool small town though. We have the big casinos, and it's a thing that I feel like which I moved to Nashville when I was 19, so I never actually got to go gamble or anything, but definitely took for granted the fact that we had that, and along with that brought in like a huge water park, which is really crazy. Yeah. And so we had like a water park in my hometown growing up, and it's a really small town. It just had all this stuff, and then we also have this really, really cool county fair, which is what this tattoo is the wristband to get into the county fair.
Wait, does that get you in though now?
No.
Like, do you go, how you doing, Phil?
I had it last year, but they change the color every year. But I guarantee you, if it's red one year, because like when you drive in, like they don't like make you stick. You just kind of have to like stick it out, just kind
That's
of wave it at
awesome.
them. And I guarantee you, I can get
It's
away
like
with it when
every
it's red.
9 years you're gonna get
Yeah,
it free.
exactly, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
But it's really cool. It's called the Neshoba County Fair, and it's a lot to explain, but basically like it's just like a county fair, but there's like 800 of these like family-owned cabins, and it's like a huge ghost town neighborhood, and also in the middle of the country, not far from the casinos. It's a really weird part of the county, like that area. But for 51 weeks out of the year, it's a ghost town, but 1 week out of the year, the whole town shuts down and goes out there, and they live in their family-owned their cabins that have been in their families for generations, and you party and you just like drink beer and you eat food, and like the cabins are nice, like they have air conditioning and like no TVs or anything like that, but they have like it's like a big tailgate, but or county fair, but you stay there for a week, so it's a really cool. It's like a hidden gem of the South. And there's any given time there's probably 50 to 80,000 people on the grounds, but it's huge. It's not crowded at all, and there's music everywhere. It's got a very like Mardi Gras vibe. It's a very, very cool thing. I think everybody should go at least once in their life because it's a really cool thing, and that's in my hometown too.
So are you influenced by because we could sit here probably talk for hours about the Delta blues and Mississippi and the tradition of music from Elvis on
Totally.
through some of the great Southern blues singers. So were you influenced by all of that growing up there?
Yeah, I definitely was. I mean, my biggest influence is just kind of rock and roll in general. I didn't get real heavy into the blues. There's a lot of people that are very, very heavy into it and know all of the artists and stuff, and I didn't really get it. But what's funny is that like I have this soul thing about me that I don't really know where it came from, and I really do think it's just kind of in your blood down there for some reason, and because I never listened to a ton of blues or a ton of soul, but I have it in me for whatever reason.
Well, I know you're a big Pink Floyd fan.
I am.
So
I am.
really, you could almost argue that that's kind of bluesish. I mean, if you listen to some of the
Totally.
guitar
And
playing.
Zeppelin. I mean, Zeppelin's,
Right.
they got a lot of their inspiration from the
Right.
blues. So a lot of that did definitely come from the blues. But I am a
That's
huge
why
Pink
it's in
Floyd
you.
fan. Yeah, you're right. You're probably
You know.
right. Stevie Ray, too. There's definitely some stuff in there.
If you look close in some of the walls here, our sister station is WMR. So you're looking at some of the
Yeah, I saw Cornell and
great
I was about died.
photos out there, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big. I grew up on rock and roll. My dad had me listening to rock when I was one of my first memories ever was him putting in a cassette, and it was Pearl Jam Alive, and he was like, "Listen to this new band, Pearl Jam," and I was like, I swear I was like 2 or 3 years old, and I remember that. That was one of my first memories ever.
That's a pretty cool first memory.
Yeah, can't complain. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. So you got some deep, deep musical tradition. And I like that how you went to Nashville. Like now really, you got pretty lucky when you
my
went down there
entire
at 19,
life.
right? Tell everybody here, like, so you went down there and all of a sudden next thing you know, you're hanging out with Florida Georgia Line. Like, how did that happen? Like, that doesn't normally happen
No,
just by going to Nashville. You don't just bump into them in the parking lot.
no,
So.
totally not. But I did actually, which is funny. I did bump
Which
into
is
them
really a
in
great
parking lot.
story. Like, you just went there and, like, there's,
So-
BK and Tyler.
My sister went to Belmont. Shout out. I don't know your name, but congrats again. Kathleen, shout out.
She's
Got the
going
Belmont
there
shirt on.
next year.
That's so cool. So if y'all don't know, FGL went to Belmont, and my sister was friends with them before they even formed their band. I mean, they just met in college. So long story short, she was friends with them for a few years at Belmont. She had been telling me about these guys, like even before I moved to Nashville. Like I have these two friends that just started a duo. And at the time, they were just playing like acoustic around town, and she was like, they're called the Florida Georgia Line. And so finally, I moved to town. They start progressing as a band. They start playing full band and all this, and they sign a publishing deal with Big Loud. And I'm still in college. I'm writing songs and stuff, but I don't have a publishing deal. I don't have anything going on. And she calls me one day and says, "Hey, Big Loud has this parking lot party every year, and you should come with me." She was interning, and I don't know if she was interning at Big Loud, but she was connected in the industry and knew people, so she was going to the party. And she said, "You should come with me. Tyler and Brian are going to be there. I want you to meet them. And they're excited to meet you." And so I was like, "That's really cool." And so I went up there, kind of hit it off with them. Like we had never met, but she introduced us. And this was in 2012. This was a while ago. And so I met them, got the phone number. We texted for a little bit. Yeah, we should write sometime. Let's get a beer. Let's hang out. And then cruise happened. And then they were gone. I mean, I was just in.
They never answered your text anymore after
that.
No,
I think I got the notification like this number does not exist anymore. But I knew that, and I knew that was just a part of the thing. But at the time, I was like, damn, like I feel like I kind of missed an opportunity there. But I didn't, I was finishing up school, and so it was one of those things that it wasn't my time. And now I know that. But so fast forward like 5 years later. I've signed a publishing deal at this point. I've been writing for a few years at this point. FGL started a publishing company, which is just shows the dichotomy of our paths or whatever. I had not really thought about them other than that like I knew those guys a long time ago. And their main writer at the time, Jordan Schmidt, who's a big writer in town now, and he's blown up as a writer. He's had a lot of hits, and then the last few years came up to me at another, and I've never really thought how weird this. It was also at a Big Loud party, which is really strange. That Big Loud likes to party, and so do I. But it was like a post-award show kind of thing. I don't remember, but Jordan Schmidt, their writer, so their company is Tree Vibes. If you're not familiar, they have a publishing company called Tree Vibes, and Jordan comes up to me at this party, and he and I had been writing some really cool stuff, and he just said, "Hey, Tyler texted me today and wanted me to let you know that he remembers you and he likes the stuff that we're writing together, and he just said he wants to keep his eye on you." And this was like 5 years later, dude. It was like a long, like 4 or 5 years, a long time later. And I just said, "Are you serious?" And I just my brain, because at this time I still had not, I was getting good writes and getting a little bit of traction in town, but I still had no cuts. I hadn't written any hits or anything. So I was hungry. I was, and it was just one of those things. Like I was looking for any opportunity I could to just kind of level up. And so my brain just started going a million miles an hour. And I just was like, this can't be real. And he was like, "Yeah." I mean, he just said he remembers you and blah, blah, blah. So we went a few months after that. They asked me to go write with them on the road, and I went out. They have a bus that has like Tree Vibes across the side of it, and they bring writers out. And at the time, they didn't have a lot of writers, so they were just experimenting with some young writers and bringing them out and see who was a good fit. And they brought me out, and we just reconnected. And like Tyler was just like, "Dude, it's so good to see you. Like it's been so long. Like how's your sister?" And he had like met my family before, which is crazy. And was like, "How's your mom and dad?" And it just was a very, very like mind-blowing thing because, just full circle, about as full circle as it gets. And I mean, the rest is kind of history. You know, we wrote then. A few months went by. I didn't really talk to them much, and then they had me out on the road again. And then that's when we really kind of got in the pocket with writing and started writing some really good stuff. And then after that, they pretty much had me out for their entire Smooth tour, which is where we wrote like Simple and Small Town and a few of the songs off their new record. And yeah, so I ended up having 8 cuts on their record and a feature. So it was pretty crazy how things work out.
How many of them went to number 1? 2 of them, right?
So far, well, yeah, I guess technically because Up Down.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 so far. My only 2 number 1s they're
Yeah.
involved with. So I owe those guys a lot, and it's been a really cool. Just honestly, it's been a really cool life lesson about trusting the process and just knowing that if it's going to work out, it's going to work out. And I'm very grateful for that because I feel like I'm very at ease with where I am in my life because of how that happened. Because now I know like if things are gonna work out, they're gonna work out. Because I thought 5 years ago that I'd missed an opportunity, and never would have ever guessed in a million years that 2 records later I would have written half the record and got to sing a song with them on the record.
And now here you are presenting your music.
Yeah.
And you got a song on the way up, and I'm starting to hear from some of the ladies in this room, and when they heard you were coming in, they were like, "Oh my God, Hardy is coming in!" Heart emoji, heart emoji.
I love that.
Heart emoji, heart emoji.
Let's go, Marissa. I love that.
Marissa's right here. And we got one from
amazing.
JJ and Nicole.
Y'all are gonna make me blush.
Oh yeah, heart emoji.
Hardy,
All
Hardy emoji.
So yes, that's good. That's a song. All right. So we're gonna play some songs here in a minute. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank
to see
y'all.
us.
This is cool,
I
man.
appreciate
I love
it.
this
Nice
vibe.
to meet you again.
Absolutely, dude.
It's 92.5 XTU.